Thank you, sir. So we're gonna get started right away to respect your time. So raise your hand if you have done a CMA and Moxie before. No? Pam? I thought I worked on this with you before. You're muted. You're muted, Pam, but I'm sure what you're saying makes sense.
Okay, now I got it. Um, I, I when I had a problem and I was in a hurry, I couldn't do it. I couldn't remember it, and I
Right.
couldn't find my notes. And I thought I've got to get back to this again.
Caroline, have you done a CMA and Moxie?
Sure have. You and I have done a few together.
Yeah. Do you like using it, or what do you find?
I don't really know another way. So
Good. Okay. All right. Kirsten, what about you? Have you done a CMA and Moxie?
I believe I have, but I haven't used it. The Flex has been the path of least
All
resistance, but I
right.
like the look of Moxie more.
And who's iPhone? Who's our iPhone person there that's muted? Our secret iPhone person. So, and we've got Vicken on there too. So, good morning, secret iPhone person left. Vicken is still there. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, the first question is uh, I'm going to share my screen. That's not a question. The first question is, can you guys see that? Yes? Okay. So who knows how to log into my CB desk? Does anybody not know how to log into my CB desk? This is interactive, guys. Unmute and give me some feedback. Do you know how to log into my CB desk or not?
I do.
I
Okay.
do.
Okay. So that's yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
Yeah,
sir.
Chase,
yes.
you do?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
All right, good. Thank you. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do is log into my CB desk. This my CB desk is more secure than Fort Knox, so uh, we got to go through these push notifications and the pull notifications. So there we go. There we are. So the first thing that I want to show you is how to get your profile into the back page of your CMA, because your CMA is going to be bing, bang, bing, bang, bang. There's the CMA, and the last page is going to be your personal profile with your photo and whatever you want to write about yourself. Does anybody not have their personal profile in Dash? Does anybody know what Dash is? So if you follow my cursor, I'm going to go into Dash.
Is it possible for you? I couldn't get on my computer today. The email wasn't working, so I'm on my iPhone, so things are small. Can you say what you're clicking on?
Uh, so I just clicked on the Dash tile
Okay.
in my CB desk, right?
Okay.
So in Dash, I'm going to pick on you, Chase, if that's okay. So you're not going to have as many options as I have. But you will be able to edit your profile. So I'm going to go into here and put in Foster, and I've got Chase. So you're going to go into your profile in Dash, and you're going to click on Profile. So here's your profile. So you've got a profile in here, Chase. At some point, you must have put that in, or somebody did it for you. Do you
Somebody
remember?
did it for me, I think. Yeah, news to me.
Okay. So
Doesn't
that's
it
what you're.
auto-populate from Moxie though? Or didn't we talk about how it auto-populated from Bay or something like that?
I don't think it does. I don't think it
Hmm.
does.
Oh, okay.
So your profile in Dash is what feeds Moxie, but it also feeds the brand websites. It doesn't feed Florida Keys Real Estate, whatever our proprietary website is, but it does feed coldwellbanker.com and the Coldwell Banker brand websites. So if you don't have a profile when you go to your agent profile in coldwellbanker.com, if you don't have one, that's because you don't have this. And if you don't have this, you don't get that, and you also don't get your profile page in Moxie. So if you pay attention to those two things and make sure that they're updated in the way that you like them, and if you need help with that, you can always get a hold of me. Okay. So that's step number one that I want to show you is go into Dash and update your profile. You get into Dash by going to My CB Desk, which is what you're looking at here, and you click on Dash. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. So now how do I get to Moxie? So Moxie has a tile. If you don't have these, see, these tiles can be moved around. See how I'm moving these tiles around? You can set up your MyCB Desk account or your MyCB Desk dashboard to look any way that you want to. And if you don't see the dash tile or the Moxie tile, then it's likely that you'll need to go down to the bottom there and click Add App, and it's probably going to be here. And you just add it. You select it, and you click Add. If it's not there, right, then actually the tech ticket system is very good pretty much inside my CB desk. You click on, can you see that little chat thing there on the bottom? You click that and it's going to log you in and you're going to open a ticket and you're going to say, this is Chase. I can't find the Moxie tile or I can't find the dash tile on my CB desk dashboard. You're going to do that, answer the questions, click submit ticket, and then you're going to, we call that opening a ticket. So if somebody says you got to open a ticket in my CB desk, that's how you open a ticket. You can open a ticket for anything, any technical problem that you're having that you need an answer to, and you can't get a hold of somebody to help you. Just go right in here and open a ticket because it's likely that that's what I would have to do, right? Anyway, so if you do it, then it's just easier for you, right? Any questions? Okay, so now I'm going to go into assuming that I've got the Moxie Works tile, and I've already updated my profile. You open the Moxie Works platform, and you can see across here, and you can go in here and look at your profile. Web info. Now you can see where that information populates from Dash. So you can't type anything in here. You've got to put it in Dash, and then it gets it in here. Okay, but that's what you're gonna see. I don't know what URL slug means. It's sounds kind of nasty, but stay away from the URL slug. So, okay. So now across the top, you can see present, engage, promote, and directory. So Moxie Works is an a la carte platform that a brokerage can subscribe to. So our brokerage only subscribes to the present module. So if you click engage or promote, you're not going to get anything. So you're going to go to Moxie Present. You're going to click present. And you can see across the top there, it says the tab that I'm in says Moxie Present across the top. And now you're inside of Moxie Present. So all these little squares are different CMAs and different presentations that I personally have done inside of Present. And I use this tool to develop the uh, open house extravaganza uh, things that Steve publishes, and I use it. You can use it for buyer tours. I use it for our twice a month caravan that we have in the Upper Keys to organize that. So you can use it for pretty much any kind of presentation. But today we're just going to be talking about CMAs, right? Anybody have any questions about that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, so I'm in my presentations. I'm going to click create new, right? So you can see the different type of presentations that you can give. You can give a seller presentation, which is what we're going to do. It's a current or potential homes market value with a traditional CMA. You can do one for a buyer tour. You know, if you're going to show somebody 10 houses on Tuesday, you can create a tour for them and send them a web link for that, and also print out the tour for them if you're going to, be going with them on that. And it's pretty cool. So I'm going to click right here, seller, right? And then you can see that I'm here at the stage where it says pick a template, right? So you're going to have a template called default seller, right? I'm in brokerage templates, default seller, right? You can see I've got my own templates that I've created, which you could do that too, taking it to the next level if you want to use it for something else. But right now we're just talking about your basic 12-page CMA template, right? So I'm going to select that and I'm going to click continue. Okay. So I'm gonna pick on Chase this morning. So Chase, do you have any active listings?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna just put Chase in here. I'm gonna name this Chase Foster, and I'm gonna pretend like you're the listing I'm going after. I'm going after Chase Foster's house, right? So it's important that you have the listing source right here. So I'm going to go into and put in Florida Keys for that. I used to have access to the Naples MLS, right? So depending on what MLSs you have access to, you could have different MLSs in here. I'm going to have my office displayed. Depending on what office you're in, you are as an agent are probably not going to be able to pick an office. But for what I'm doing with Chase, I'm going to pick the Marathon office. I'm going to leave this to total square feet, and I'm going to click create. Okay. So here we are. So now I've set up myself to create in the default CMA seller template a 12-page CMA that's going to be called Chase Foster. So Chase, give me, so the first thing that I'm going to do, if you look at Moxi, it's got a these columns: subject, property, search, listings, estimate, and pages. This is like our control deck for what we're working in. So the first thing when you do a CMA, what do you have to do, right? You have to find the subject property, right? You got to pick your subject property. So that's going to be the house that you're going to go on the listing for, right? So most of the houses at one point in time in the Keys been listed before? Yes, right. Most of the time they have. There's an occasional outlier that may not be ever listed. But for this little drill we're doing, we're going to assume that this house has been listed before. And I'm going to put an MLS number in here. Chase, could you give me an MLS number of one of your current listings?
Do 618581.
Does that look like it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you see what I did was I put the MLS number and it automatically populated all the data from that. So let's assume for purposes of this that this house isn't active, that it was sold a long time ago, right? And for that reason, I'm going to remove this list price and I'm going to remove, I can keep this, I'm going to remove this because I'm not using a prior sale. This is a comp. This is a subject property. All I want is the data from here, right? So do you guys follow me with that? And I can add in, I mean, so this is a national product, right? So there's going to be like a place for a basement and a fireplace and whatever, and you can, do whatever you want to this, right? Put stucco, to modify that. You can modify any of these other things across the top here. It looks like this house is single family, 1,263 square feet on a 4,098 square foot lot built 1972. Does that sound about right, Chase?
Yeah, unless they do something separate for half duplexes. But yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually a half duplex.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is like it's not gonna discern the difference between a half duplex. So you're gonna have, so is it 1,263 feet in one half of it, or is that the whole thing?
It
Do
just
you
in
have
the
one
one
half
half.
listed?
Yeah, I just had the half listed. Yeah.
Okay, right. So for this little drill we're doing, we're going to assume that this is a single family home. Okay? Because I'm not going to get into trying to divide the lot size between the duplex and trying to find other duplexes to compare it to. I'm just going to assume, does that make sense? I'm just going to play like this is a regular single family home, unless you want to give me another MLS number with a different with a single, that's a regular single family home.
Yeah, I can give you another one if you want.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Do 617379.
So this is a single family home.
Yes, sir.
So here we got a 3-2, 1,100 square feet, 6,400 square foot lot. I can make any of these changes. I can change these remarks, right? Because like the old remarks that are pulled from the old listing may be different than what the new property is like. Do you see what I'm saying? If the property was sold 6 years ago, these remarks that are populating from the MLS, are not going to be valid, so I can change them. Does that make sense? Caroline, you got me? You guys got it? Okay. So all I've done up to this point is grab this subject property. And that's the property that Chase is going on the listing presentation for. So I've entered my data. I've modified it the way I want to. I'm going to click continue. Now it's going to take me to the search, right? So the system is automatically going to use a set of filters, which are right here, to determine what the comparable properties could be, right? So the problem that I have with that is I don't like to use the filters, right? Because I got to relearn all about the filters and how to set the filters so that I get the properties that I want. So what I want to show you is using I use the MLS to get my comparable properties. I do my searching on the MLS, right? Where I'm familiar with how to use those filters and that search criteria to find a house. So I'm going to take a step over to Flex and Chase, tell me this house. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm gonna find the comps that I want to use. So what island is this on?
Marathon.
Right. So I'm gonna pick Marathon, uh, and it's a single family home.
Yep.
Okay. And boy, there's a lot for sale in Marathon. Uh, where's the square footage?
Living approximate square footage. It's under
Right here.
yeah,
So I like to look at how many square feet is this house?
1189.
So I like to go 20% below and 20% above when I do a CMA. You may have some other way you do it. You may do 10% below, 10% above. So if this is 1185, I'm going to go just roughly, I'm going to go 1,000 to 1,400, right? I mean, that's just the way I do it, right? Okay. And what year was it built?
1957.
57. So, I don't believe you can compare a 57 house to a 2026 house, right? So 57, that's kind of like, I think in my mind, like, let's see what we have from the beginning of time to 1970. We'd have somewhat similar construction styles, right? Right? I mean, that would be when they were still making ground level houses before they started making stilted homes. That was, at some point after. Is this on the water?
Yes, it is.
So waterfront, I'm going to say yes. So that's bringing me down to 13, right? I've got 13 results. And in my CMAs, how many comparable closings do you like to have, Chase? Closed sales.
I mean, ideally, like 5 or 6 at least.
Yeah. So I'm not getting that here, right? You see these, so I've got one sold, and I think this means, let's see what this means. Let's just look at the list. Oh, I've got a bunch of closings. Okay. So I'm going to use I'm going to use these closings. What was your price on this, Chase?
So I threw another curveball one at you, Jeff. So we're listed at 1.3. And what's unique about this one compared about the ones in the neighborhood there is you've got so much more dockage. It's got 155 foot of dockage, I think there,
Right.
which is pretty hard to come by. So.
Right. So again, we don't really have time to muddle through trying to pick the perfect comps on this, Chase.
Of
So
course, yeah.
we're just trying to show how to pick the comps. So I'm just going to pick. I'm going to pick. Heck, I guess I could just pick those, right? Right. So these are the comps that I'm going to use in my CMA, right? So I'm going to For some reason, I just forgot how to export these. You guys know how to do that?
Is it share?
I can't remember, but you showed me before. Oh,
You hit those three dots to the right, and you should be able to see export.
There we go. Thanks,
uh,
Melissa. Right?
Yep.
I like to export those because it just makes it easier for me. And I don't have to screw around trying to retype anything, right? So I'm just going to go like this.
Actually, I don't know if that is correct. That might that creates the spreadsheet.
That's what I want as a spreadsheet.
Oh, okay. Got it.
You got your face over all this stuff. For download does not begin. There we go. That's what I want right there. So these are the so again, I'm just trying to show you how I like to get my MLS numbers. I just export them. You could you could cut and paste them. You can type them in by hand. You can use that filter system inside of Moxi to find them, which I don't like to do because I'm more familiar with how to do it in Flex. So instead of using the filters, I'm going to click the button that says MLS, and I'm going to paste all those MLS numbers in here. Right? You see how I did that, Melissa? Caroline, you guys see that? Somebody?
yes, I see it.
Okay. So I'm going to click search. Right? So right now, you see what I did? I pasted that. I click search, and it's going to load all of those listings into the search there. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and include all. But let's just say I don't want to include off market. You know, if you like to use actives in your CMAs, you could if you like to use pendings. So on the left here, you're just going to pick, and I'm just kind of randomly going through here to pick these with no rhyme or reason, right? So I either select it or not, right? And now I've selected all the listings except these top two and those middle two, right? You guys with me?
Jeff, just out of curiosity, what is coming up as off market when you're doing a search?
That would be something that has canceled or expired.
Okay.
Yeah, canceled or expired,
Hey,
right?
Jeff, Cheryl Ann, I have a quick question.
Yes.
It, for some reason in Duck Key, this Moxie always just shows duck. And you had shown me where I could change it on the, I can edit that to
Yeah.
change this. Where was that at?
Yeah, we'll get to that in our one of our next things here,
Okay,
Carol. Just sit
thank
tight for 1 second, okay? So now I've selected those, right? I've selected the ones I want. I'm going to click continue. Okay, so now I can see my subject property has the star, and these are the comparables that I've picked. I've selected 9, right? I've selected 9. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about where we're at so far? You can see a summary here of the low, the average, and the high for each different category, active, pending, and sold. Right? So Cheryl Ann was just asking how to change it from saying duck to duck key. And what you can do is go into copy to custom listing. Do you remember that, Cheryl Ann? And it makes a copy of it, right?
Oh, right, yeah,
That you can edit, right? So I don't really want to get into that now, but that's how you do it,
okay,
right?
thank you.
So if you think about these listings that are in this report, this is a live link to Flex. So if the prices adjust, go up or down, or the status changes, that's going to flow into this presentation. So your presentation will always be updated. It's like all the listings are in there live. They get updated as they're updated in Flex. So what we just did with Cheryl Ann, we copied one. When it's copied, then it no longer is live. It's static, right? That's why you don't really, you got to pay a little more attention. If your listings are static, then that means if the status changes or the price goes up or down or something is different in it based on, the flex being changed. If it's static, then it doesn't change over. Does that make sense, Chase?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So Cheryl Ann, are you good with what I just told you? So,
Yes, thank you.
okay. So just because we did that for her, I'm going to remove this one, right? I'm going to take that out. Okay. So now I have picked my listings. And when I put these in here, I like to put them in sold to active. You can do active to sold, sold to active. You can sort them in this CMA however you want to. So I'm gonna put active to sold. And we don't have any actives in this. So, well, we have one active pending sold. If I change this to sold to active, it's going to put the sold ones first and then pending and active, right? So that's how I can change them. Okay. All right. So I've done that. I've found my listings. I've put them in here. Now, a lot of people don't use adjustments in their CMAs, right? Because it's too hard. In this, it's very easy, right? So if I want to make an adjustment, let's just say, does this house have a pool? Your house, Chase, your listing?
Yes, it does.
So it does have a pool. So let's look and find one of these houses that doesn't have a pool, right? Looks like I can see a pool. Some of them have pools, some of them don't. Let's just assume for doing this right now that this 605 26th Street doesn't have a pool. I'm going to click Add Adjustment. I'm going to put in swimming pool. Okay. So what do you think a pool is worth in a house like that?
Today, probably 75, 80,000.
Let's say 80,000. So Chase, if your house has a pool and Pam, you don't, maybe you say 800, maybe you say 150, the amount doesn't matter, right? You pick
Yeah.
the amount, right? So we're just going to use 80 because he said that first. So Chase, if your listing has a pool and this one doesn't, and I'm going to adjust for it, do I add or subtract 80,000 to this?
I would think you would subtract 80,000.
I got to add it.
You're gonna add it, yeah.
Wow, so
Because I'm adjusting the comp, right? I'm adjusting the comp to be like the subject.
I got you.
So it's like opposite of what you think in your head, right? So this house doesn't have a pool. So I'm going to add 80,000 and I'm going to click add. You can see right there, swimming pool. And let's say Chase's house has a two-car carport, and this one has only a one-car carport. I'm going to add carport, and I'm going to put 10,000 for an extra carport bay. Okay, just making up a number, whatever. Okay. So what you can see is it just put those adjustments, we're adjusted 605. It adjusted the price to 800, right? It adjusts because I added 80 and 10. Okay, so it put the adjusted price in there. So that's how you do an adjustment. Okay. So now let's come to the estimate of value. So what Moxi does is it calculates two pricing statistics. It calculates based on the average sales price, and it calculates a different value based on the average square foot price, right? And it only calculates, it's just like Flex, it only calculates off closed sales. So there are no active, pending, withdrawn, stats in this computation of the price, right? It's just, and it's calculating it off of the adjusted close price, right? So what this is saying, Chase, right or wrong, just for the purpose of this, based on the average sales of the houses we selected, your house will be 937,143. And based on the average square foot price of all the adjusted closed sales prices, calculates the average price per square foot, applies it to your square footage, it gives you a value of 884, right? So you got 744 price per square foot on average. You've got 1,189 square feet. That's how it calculates that, right? So the only way to change these pricing stats is to pick different listings or make different adjustments. That's how you control that. So usually when I do a CMA, I start with my gut feel. Like, I just look and I say, what do I think this house is worth? I might ask somebody and I say, okay, $1 million. Then I go in and I run some numbers in Flex. I do maybe a statistical CMA in Flex. It's real easy to do. That's a different topic. And I come up with a price per square foot and I check that. And I'm like, I think that's about 890. And then I do that. And then I go into Flex and I pick my listings and I look at all the photos and try to find the ones that are very most close. And I go through and I select them. Now, Frank, I don't know if Frank's on the call. Frank's more of an odd AVM guy. He just lets the computer do the work. I'd like to, I'm analytical. I like to get in there and I like to look at the photos, make sure, because it's really hard to do a CMA, I think, in the Keys because everything is different.
Everything.
Does anybody have a difference of opinion? It's okay if you do. If you do something different and you want to share it, just jump in. Okay. So here's our estimated price. So do any of you guys use a range in your CMAs? You say like the house might be worth 950 to $1 million, or do you just give them a price?
No,
I did it that last time because we couldn't really find any comparables, and the
Oh,
number
there's
that the
Frank.
seller wanted, I was trying to find something somewhat in between.
I said your name, Frank, and you magically appeared. So
Yeah. I actually make adjustments on my
oh, you do?
TMAs.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Well, then this would be good for you too. And I'm sure you can do that on RPR and also on Flex. We're just talking about this for now. Uh, so if I want to create a range, right, I could say, I think this house is worth 925 to 950. Whoops. I can pick a range. Okay, so now I put a range in. So now I've done that, right? I've done that. So I've come up with my estimated pricing, and you might put in, please, whatever you're going to put into the seller, please price at 920. Whatever you want to write in here, you write in. Okay. So now we've worked out our pricing. Any questions on that? Okay, I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to show you what I think is one of the slickest things about this is the net sheet. There we go. She's coming back. Okay, so I clicked estimate. I've gone through my pricing. And I'm going to click estimated net proceeds. Right, so I got to put a price in here. Let's say 925. Right. So Chase, does this house have a mortgage payoff?
That's a good question, actually.
All right, never mind. I'm assuming that's a 6% listing at 3 and 3.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here are my settlement costs. See, this all populates automatically. I put 3 in and it just created that. What I do might be a little different from what you do. I do it real simple. I put in a value for doc stamps because in the upper keys, seller pays doc. So in order to get doc to work out in this, I'm going to put 0.07% or 0.7%. So, right, there's my doc stamp, 6,400. And then I just like to put in like 1,500 bucks for everything else. That's just the way I do it. It's real easy. I like to always guess that a little high. I don't figure out, what all the nitnoid FedEx charges and all the breakout of everything. I put in 1,500 bucks, and that's the way I do it. Our internet's lagging a little slow here. Okay. So I think I've got that done. So you can see my estimated sales price is 925. I've got 63,000 in closing costs and my net proceeds is 861. So I've done my pricing. I've done my net sheet. Now the final part of this is the pages. So here's what the system created automatically without any interference from me, right? So there's two ways that you can view this. You can view it the web view, and what you're looking at right there with my beautiful mug on there, that's the web view, right? And you can also create a PDF view. So I'm going to click view and I'm going to click web. So this is what your seller will see if you send them the link. Right. So you guys know I didn't, all I did was what you saw, and it created all this beautiful work for me. Right. Put all this in here, gave me a property summary. Right. Nice property summary on page 2. I go to page 3. It's showing me where my comparable sales are. Closings are red. Yellow is pending, and you can see this little green one under here. That's active right there. And so the seller can look at this and they can say, well, let me look at this house on Dolphin Drive. They pull that up. They can go through the reel. They can see the whole deal, right? You got all that. Okay. So that's the listing location map. This is the overview, just a little different view. You click on that and it's going to show you information, same type, same style. Okay, it gives you side-by-side comparison that you can look at, right? Let me go to the next page. right? So it gives you the status comparison. So if I would put the closed sales, if I would reorder that closed to sold, then it would put the closed ones up top. So when I do the Mike Ferry CMA presentation, this is the one I use where I'm going through the listings. I say, Mr. Chase, let's look at 65 Tengler. How many bedrooms? He says two. How many bathrooms? Two. How many square feet? What was the list price? What did it sell for? How many days was it on the market? That's right out of that playbook. Okay, that's a status comparison sheet. This gives you an overview of the prices, in graphical format for your comparables. This is called the scattergram, and this is great if you have a lot of data. If you got a lot of data, this makes sense. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense with this small amount of data. These two scattergrams is what I call them. I just delete those, and I'm going to show you how to remove those from the thing. But it essentially shows you a graphical representation of how square footage across the bottom affects price, right? So if your subject, comes out way down here or way over here or somewhere as an outlier, then it will kind of show you that. Okay. Here's my pricing analysis. Remember, I put a range in and I changed the remarks. I said, please price 920, right? So I can remove, if I don't want to have any of these pricing stats on here, I can just remove them. And I'm going to show you how to do that, but that's where it's going to show the price. Here's my net sheet, which I love the simplicity of these net sheets. You can put as much or whatever you want in there, right? And then here's my profile that has my picture and my web profile that I loaded in Dash. Yeah, again, all that comes from Dash. You can see your office is going to be here, whatever else you got. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. So I'm going to go back to here. Again, that was view. Now, if I want a PDF of that, I'm going to click that link, and it's going to create a document that I can print and bind and take with me, right? So you can, if this web link is what we just looked at, to send this to someone, all I do is I go up here and I cut and paste this address, right? That address right there that you can see on the top there, present.cb. And I just say, hey, Mr. Chase, I just created this CMA for you. Here's a web link to it. Take a look at it, have at it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll call you tomorrow about it or whatever you're doing. Okay, so that's how you would send it in web link format. And again, when you send the web link, if something changes in Flex, right? Remember, it's live. It's going to change in the CMA. Okay. So that's that. Anybody have any questions about that? Now, I told you I'd help you with these pages. So again, we looked at subject, we looked at search, we looked at listings, we did our estimate and our net sheet, and now we're in the final part of this, which is the pages. And you can see all the pages that I just looked at down the left here. So anything I want to change, if I see a pencil, I can change. So say that I want to change the cover title. I want to show or not show, so I want to take the cover photo out, right? So I just took the cover photo out. Any of these changes I can make. If I want to change the way the PDF cover design looks after I mess with it a little bit, I can change that there, right? So any page can be changed like that. So the property summary page, the property summary is the page of the subject that can't be changed here. The way you change that is you go back up to subject property and change it, right? So you either change it through the pencil or through these tabs on the top. Listing locations, display or not. Listing reference page, that means this ribbon across the top, yes or no. Listing overview. So you got to be careful when you do the PDF. If you print the PDF and you include the photos, which I have, I'm including the photos. You want to stop this. I think the number was 12, right? Because if you don't, and there's 97 photos in that listing, it's going to pull all 97 photos and it's going to hijack your computer for weeks, right? It's going to be like getting all that information and then it creates a PDF and then you print the PDF, it'll bog you down. So I just put 12 in there and that will always give me 1 page's worth of photos. Now you can't order the photos. However they are in Flex ordered is the way they're ordered there. Does that make sense? So that's how you're going to control how many photos are in that PDF. My side-by-side comparisons. So if I want to come on here and I don't understand, this land tenure thing, that's a California thing. If I don't want to see the adjusted price, any of these fields, any of these rows can be adjusted by adjusting these. Okay. It's all very adjustable. Status comparisons. Same thing. Whoops. That's interesting. I'm losing control of myself. So any of these that I want to show or not show. I'm going kind of fast.
Jeff,
Yes.
are we running late? One thing on the location map, I haven't tried it here, but it seemed to me like you were saying you could either have the map or not.
Not the
Quite
map.
often.
Yeah, not the map, just the ribbon. It's the ribbon across the top. So like see listing display, listing reference page. Or no, Pam, I'm sorry, this has to do with a PDF copy only. What that's going to do is take a reference page that's in the PDF copy for the map, it's going to remove it, right? You can't remove the map. You could remove the page.
But that's not what I was going to ask. Often they either don't put in the right, somehow don't allow it to put in the right location, or check it afterwards. It's on the MLS, and that's the listing agent.
Yeah.
Can
You can
add
edit.
anything?
You can edit the location of the listing on the map. You can do a manual override of that.
You can, okay.
I can work with you on that alone. Okay. So we've got listing averages. Remember I told you the scattergram? I'm going to remove it. So that's how you remove the page. I'm going to remove that. Right. So now after you've created these pages and remove the rows that you don't want and remove whatever you've done and taken out the certain pages that you don't want, if you save this as a template, I'm going to call this Chase's template, right? I'm going to click save. And now I don't have to redo all those things that I just did. Every time I do a CMA, I'm going to use my template, Chase's template, and it's going to have those changes automatically made. So this is kind of a hard thing to do in an hour, and we're coming to the top of it. Does anybody have any comments or questions?
Yeah, when you make adjustments on a property, like if it has a pool or the dockage or whatever, is there an area, I thought there was, where you can actually write a little description of why that price was adjusted?
Yeah. So probably the best place to do that is going to be right at the adjustment. Let me go down to, I don't remember which one we did the adjustment on. I think it was this one. So I would write it in here, swimming pool.
It
Right.
is, you do have a swimming pool.
Yeah, it's in there. Where does that show up on the CMA? Like you
Okay.
already have it in there, swimming pool.
Oh,
Okay. Hold on. Let's look at the CMA. I'm going to go to view. I'm going to go to web. That was what was the address on that? 60, was it 60526? Yeah, adjusted. See, it says adjusted right there. So here's your adjustments. Here's where you can see those, at least in this view.
Can you,
Swimming pool.
I'm sorry, can you see it also on the printed one or no?
Yes. All right. Be careful here. Going back to print. I'm going to go to view. I'm going to print. I can print portrait or landscape. Now see, here's where it hijacks your computer if you got 1,000 photos in there. Just this little drill here where it generates the PDF. So here's my PDF view, right? So it's got the cover page, which I can change. I showed you kind of where you could change the way that looks. There's my map that Pam was talking about. So there's the subject, excuse me, the comparables. So let's go to the comparable that had the adjustment. Was it that one? Right?
yeah.
So right here, it's showing you total adjustments 80,000 on that page.
But
But
some
it
of
doesn't say what it
pool,
was
the
for.
pool is gone.
Yeah, it is.
I'm looking, wait, to adjust it. Wait, is that
Right
it?
here. So if you go to the second page, it's going to show it right here on this second
Oh,
page. 800,000 adjusted swimming pool. So if you wanted to make this description longer and more descriptive, you could probably with up to a certain extent. But that's where you would edit that, and then there's the photos. If you want additional language, you can edit these remarks. You can make those remarks, you can add those or modify those. Okay. Any other questions?
On the page where you did agent remarks and you said please price at 920, like I typically on the Flex CMA, that's where I do like a whole summary of the CMA and a whole, kind of cover for the sellers and stuff. Does it leave you room to do that on this, Jeff? Or
Yeah,
is
I'm
it
pretty
small?
sure I'm fairly certain you could put anything that you wanted in here within reason. I mean, I don't know if it has like a 500 character limit or 1,000 character limit, but you could, I'm sure, fit whatever it is you wanted in there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, there's your net sheet, your printed version of your net sheet, and your profile. And again, that's the PDF. So again, if there are changes made in Flex, they're not going to change in this because this now is static. It's not live. This PDF report is one and done. It's done, right? So unless you recreate it, okay. Anything else?
On the PDF form, when it has that sheet where it puts them all on one page that you said you use, right? How does it show adjustments on that?
Yeah. Right here. Total adjustment. You find the one that we adjusted. 605 right here. Total adjustment. See, like personally, I would modify these rows so that I get all the data on one page. See how this is broken into, it's broken into a top page and a second page. I would remove whatever I could to get all this data on one page. And then I would pull my CMAs back, my comparables back, so that I just had one page. I'd try to get like one, two, three, four, five listings or however many would fit. One, two, three, four, five, six. So if I boiled it down to six, right, then I'm going to have everything on one page instead of multiple pages. So Mike Ferry says you shouldn't use more than 6 listings in your CMA. I mean, that's him. That's up to you. I mean, you could have as many listings and as many pages as you want, but sometimes simpler is better. And then here's the page that I would use if I was using the MFO listing presentation because it's laid out the same way. It's like Chase, let's look at 65 Tingler. How many bedrooms? 2. How many bathrooms? 2. What's the square footage? Lot size? What was it listed for? And what did it sell for? And how many days was it on the market? Right? Remember that scripting? You can get that right here. Just flows right out. And I can change some of these columns and I can switch the order. And again, after I make all those complicated changes, I can save it as my default profile or my default template, my custom template, and then it's always that way that I set it up to be. So
does it save adjustments for you too? Like if you have a standard pool adjustment or whatever, or do you always have to enter those one by one?
yeah. So I don't remember. I don't remember. I do know that after you add the adjustment swimming pool in, when you go to make another adjustment and you type S, it puts the word swimming pool in. So if you're making a swimming pool adjustment on 6 listings, when you go into add adjustment, you type S and it's going to put in swimming pool again. It's like smart like that. I don't remember if it remembers the amount. But okay. Anything else? All righty. Clear as mud, huh? Stuff is all complicated. Tony, Chase, Teresa, Allison, Caitlin, Annalise, Pam, Cheryl, Kirsten, Rebecca, and Viking and Frank. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Yeah. So if you guys need help with this, you can make an appointment with me. And if you can get your comps together that you want, right? You get your comps together and you get your access to my CB desk. You got to log into my CB desk. That's step 1. Your manager can help you with that. And if you want help creating your own custom template, we can probably do that in an hour. And then you'll always have the custom template that you use, right? So
Give me a
again,
thumbs up.
Say, Frank?
Give me a thumbs up, please.
Yeah.
No,
Me?
you. Yeah, lift your thumb up. Good. There we go. Thank you. I needed that for the thumbnail.
Okay, Frank's making AI picture of me looking like John Wayne. So I don't know.
Hopefully,
I
if
don't
you
know
look
what
at the
he's
chat,
doing.
the last one came
He's
out pretty good.
He's a dangerous man, so I don't know. I don't know what he's up to, but don't fall for it yourself. You guys are great. Thank you for playing along. You can watch the video. You can call me and I'll help you with this the best I can. So, all right.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Thank
Bye.
you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.